In this video,
definitely need to read the instructions.
Straight out, look, straight out.
but you know my channel, I like to show it warts and all, and also made another mistake.
Love it. Something that I've always thought about getting, but I was always put off by how difficult it might be to use. Well, Creality got in touch and said they'd like to send me one of their laser engraver cutters. And of course, I said yes. I'm not being paid for it, but I have been sent it for free, hence why you can see the paid promotion somewhere on the screen. There it is, look. So if you ever wondered how difficult or easy they are to use by an amateur, me, then this will be the video for you. First of all, let's rewind and see how easy or difficult it was for me to get on with it.
Hello, sheddies, and you join me again in my shed. Nothing better than new tool day. Come on!
So firstly, I'll run through the specs, but just to let you know, I've never used a laser cutter or engraver in my life. I've never used any programs to do with them either. So this will be completely new, as it might be for you as well. And I know there's quite a few of you out there who've already got one or have used one in the past. Michael, I'm thinking of you. But to be completely fair, I didn't want to reach out to anyone first. This is pretty much me on day one using a laser cutter engraver. As you can see, it's packaged amazingly well. Loads of this foam everywhere, so nothing moves around in the box. But I'm really looking forward to the endless possibilities of what I can create. So for the specs, it's a Creality Falcon 2pro laser cutter and engraver. And Creality sent me the laser cutter itself, 22 watt, a 40 watt and a 1.6 laser diodes, various colours of acrylic sheets, basswood sheets. In here I am just unboxing everything, laying it all out so I can start assembly.
One of those times where I definitely need to read the instructions. I'll come straight back to you.
And a bit of a disclaimer, there's going to be some things that I get wrong in here, of course. Let me know in the comments if I do. I'll get better and better over time, and I want to bring out more videos on this. So first of all, I'll go about assembling the cover. Gives it 360-degree view all the way around, and it prevents laser leakage. Built-in top camera for accurate alignment. We'll come on to that in the video. You can see it in that center bar there. Goes together really easily, just using an Allen key and screws. I put the dust sheet down just to protect it from scratches. This laser cutter is compatible with 22 watt, 40 watt and 1.6 watt laser modules. I'm installing the 22 watt here. Dead easy to connect up, it's all plug and play. Just plug the plug in first and then plug the pipe in for the air assist. Really easy, really straightforward, easy to do. And then just attach this Velcro to hold the pipe together. Nice and simple. And then we've got two knobs at the side of the laser diode for adjusting the height. We'll come on to that later in the video. Then onto the tray, slides in really easy to catch all the debris and offcuts. Next onto the aluminium slats to make a honeycomb panel. And I put these next to each other. I discovered later on it's better to have a space in between each one. They slot into nice little grooves down both sides. You can also have them horizontal rather than vertical. But for when you're doing smaller cuts, it's better to have them closer together, as we'll discover later in the video. So next I'm fitting the cover, placing it on top. Just checking the door opens at the front nice and easy, slides through. Now in the kit you do get an Allen key, but I decided to use my screwdriver set. So fitting one side panel first with some screws, and then the other panel on the other side has got the fan fitted. Everything aligns, all the holes align up well. And then onto the other side, and here's the fan. Wide up, ready to go, just got to plug on the end. Such a brilliant system, everything is plug and play. Next onto the ducting for the fan, easy to fit, clamp to hold it in place. And here's the plug on the end of the fan, just plug in this socket here and then just tuck it away in this groove down the side. Next onto the pump, all the air assist equipment, and that just plugs into the side of the machine there. An inlet to receive the silicone pipe, and then remove the bung from the pump, and here's the silicone pipe, and then just connect them both up. It's great when you get closer to the end of assembly because you want to start using it. So next, the power supply. Plugs easily into the other side. And these are the set of keys that you get, which go in at the front to stop untrained hands using it. There's the stop button. I've just released it there. And the on-off button at the side. This is the multi-level focus block. We'll come on to that in the video. And 2 USB to USB-C cables. And a pair of green goggles. Some more specs. The area, or the working area, is 400mm by 415mm. The weight is 18.04 kilograms. The overall size is 664mm by 570mm by 328.4mm. Just trying the fan out, which seems quite powerful actually. So the USB-C cable to USB is plugged into the USB camera. And it goes into my MacBook Pro, and then the other USB goes to the USB-C, and that plugs into the machine there. There's also a slot there for a memory card in case you don't want to use a laptop. You can program it straight onto the card. So if we turn this on, turn the stop off, turn the keys on, the air assist starts up, and then the fan is running. It's set currently on auto, but you can put it to on. Leave it on auto. And then on this side, then we've got the light switch on this side. Currently on auto, put it to on, and the light illuminates from the front. For now, the fan goes through this ducting to the back of my shed, and I need to put a hole in this wall to extract it. At the minute, it's just going through the crack of the door. On the front here, we've got the home button, frame button, which we'll come on to, play and pause, and then arrows where you can move the laser around. You can see there. And to the right, in small increments. But we'll come into that in more detail. Back to home. The quality is fantastic. It goes together really well. It's really modular system. Instructions are easy to understand. The side here, we've got a dial to adjust the speed of the air assist pump. It's on a rubber mount. It doesn't make much noise, to be honest. So let's start cutting, or shall I say burning. But before I do, it's me again in the future. Let me just run through a few things that I may have missed out. So first of all, get this nice little box for all the little tools and screws and all the accessories. Shows you what's in there. So it's called the assembly box, and you get the Allen wrenches, an open-ended wrench, tweezers, dust-free cloth, protective lens, USB adapter, Velcro strip, the keys, TF card, and a card reader. So we get the principal part, the actual machine itself. The laser module comes with it, which is 22 watt. These are all the panels and the framework to make up the cover. Exhaust pipe, or I call it ducting, the clamp for it, the air assist equipment, the pump, the silicone tube, some basswood samples, and a calibration card. We'll come on to that. Power supply, green goggles, showed you earlier the multi-level focus block, the USB cables to USB-C, anti-static brush, obviously the manual, which is this, and some stickers. Optional extras, fume extractor, a rotary kit for doing like cylindrical things like glasses, and some risers. But I'm pretty sure we don't need those because I've already got the tray. And as we can see, the instructions are really easy to follow. In these boxes here, first one, a 40 watt laser module. Again, nicely packed with this foam. The 40 watt laser module itself, I've not fitted this one to it yet. The power supply, and some more goggles. Obviously with this, we can cut much thicker material. Then in this one, the 1.6 watt laser. Complete kit there. Again, I've not installed it yet. Again, comes with goggles. We'll come on to that. And just to be clear, there's different variations on their website. So some of these don't come with the base model, so it's worth checking first. And then they kindly sent me some acrylic in different colours.
Different colours, yellow, red, I think there's blue in there. Full batch of them, so that's going to keep me going. Some basswood. A good stock there to keep me going. Plenty of projects. And the cover itself, metal frame, and you can see a deep red transparency cover. So 360, you can see all the way around, and we won't need goggles to look at the laser on this because it's all protected. I think the proper terminology is light flickering capabilities. The bonus, I ain't going to keep putting the goggles on every time I want to use it. Some of the laser cutting manufacturers don't have that, so you have to wear the goggles every time. It's good as well because it's housed. All the smoke and fumes go straight out the ducting via the fan at the back. So if we turn it on, that's the emergency stop, of course. Now it's flashing green to say everything's okay. If there's a problem, it'd be flashing red. So if we open it,
the fan cuts off, but the air assist pump keeps on priming.
and if we look inside, we can see the camera. If you can see it there, right in the center. Now that's great for positioning and alignment. Makes life so much easier, as you'll see shortly. So that's where it's positioned, right in the center there. Camera's good as well, so you can position the material so you can see it on the laptop. So when you turn it on, you want the camera might not pick it up, but they go from amber and then they all go to green. So you've got lens, that's to tell you that the lens is clean, so it's green. You can clean it, or you should clean it every so often anyway. The fire, that's to tell you if there is an actual fire. And the air, that's to tell you the air is operating, the pump is operating. I said earlier as well, there's two knobs on the side there to adjust the height of the laser module. We use this to set the height. If you can see, it's like steps, the focus range. So on there, we've got for cutting basswood, 1 to 3 mil, then 4 to 6 mil, and then 6 mil upwards. See different heights. We'll use that in the video. Got the 22 watt installed, and that easily cuts through 15 mil poplar board, 10 mil dark acrylics, and 0.5 mil of stainless steel sheet. Interesting. And the 40 watt laser module, 20 mil poplar boards, 30 mil dark acrylics, and then the 1.6 watt for finer details. The airflow light's flashing at the minute, it's stopped, but if it's yellow, it's engraving. When it's cutting, it's green, and default when it's booting up is green as well. If we look on top, we've got a reset button there. If there's a fire or whatever and it stops, we've got a reset button. It's operating, you open that, it stops immediately, as does the stop button. Of course, the drawer below, as you can see, I've already been using it. All the debris falls in there, and also the small pieces as well that you've cut out that you want to keep. Underneath, you can see there, it's got little feet. You see there, it's got a slider so you can adjust the positioning of it if you've got a narrow workbench. So all these little safety devices on the module at the front here and the door, I think they're great. They're the sort of things that I can feel assured if anything goes wrong, it's looking after me. Creality Falcon 2pro. So let me take you back to when I calibrated it and I started using it. Another small disclaimer, there's a few mistakes that I made. You wouldn't expect anything different. A lot of you might know the way I am. I'm bad with instructions, but if I can do it, anyone can, because I've had to read all the instructions, which are laid out beautifully, easy to understand. The Creality give you this TF card with everything on there you need to know. Videos, instructions, manuals, everything you need to know is on there. You just have to look at them. Let me show you where I'm up to.
Right, I thought I'd not put all the minute details into this video. I'll do all the videos on this laser engraver later on to show you more. But first of all, I downloaded Lightburn. It's 30 days free, and then you pay for it after that. So I will be buying this. First thing you've got to do is get the two to marry up with each other. I'm using my MacBook Pro. I plugged it in. It detected it. It detected the camera. It all showed up very easily. But the first thing you have to do is do a calibration on the camera to work out the positioning. So you've got this calibration card. You move it around the deck in different positions, and it all sort of identifies where it is. So that's the calibration. And Lightburn directs you where to move it from and to. So very easy. And as you can see here, I opened up the aluminium slats. I left a space in between each one, but I moved them back again later in the video. Next, I've got a bit of cardboard. Now, I don't know if this is right or not, but it's a calibration test, which actually engraves the card, and then you use these as focus points to calibrate the camera with those focus points, if that makes sense. But I think it worked. It seems to have done the job. So as you can see there, it's putting numbers onto that bit of card, 1 through to 4, and then it's got like a target point. Now when this is done, we look at the camera from above, and then we put these dots corresponding with the center of those targets. Well, there are actually crosses, and I put them into the center of each number, as you can see there, and it made a perfect square.
There we go, a bit of card with, what would you call them, data points. On other laser engraver cutters, what you normally do is position it on Lightburn where you want to position it on the deck. Then you frame it, so what sort of position it's going to go to, and do like a mock run. Good thing about Creality with this camera, sort of align it on the screen itself. So you can position it on the screen, and then you know where the laser's going to go and start cutting. But I didn't work that out straight away. So calibration's done, ready for the first project.
So I used some of this 3mm basswood, and then I got the focus gauge, popped that underneath because it's 3mm on the right setting, dropped it down to reach the right distance from the basswood, tightened up the knobs again, took it away and ready to go. Homed it first, shut the door, then I just had to set the parameters. Let me explain more. What these are recommended parameters for each laser. This is for the 22-watt laser. So let's say, for example, we're engraving. So then we go to, here we go, basswood, thickness 2mm, plywood, thickness 3mm, and then we've got down here, we've got cutting, and then basswood again. Depending on what sort of thickness the material is, then it tells you what the power should be. So here we can see recommended power percentage, and then 40, 35, etc, etc. Well, for cutting, basswood is 100%, but it says also the recommended work speed. So you can see here 6,000, 6,000. Now 6,000 is usually for engraving because you want it to go quite fast because it doesn't really need to cut through. So for cutting, for example, basswood again there, 700. And then it tells you how many passes it needs to do, which we'll come on to in the video because I cut acrylic and it recommends doing quite a few more passes than 1. I think it's about 3. So you've got the recommended power, you've got the work speed, and you've got the passes, depending on the thickness and the material that you're using. For example, here, we've got yellow transparent, orange frosted, engraving. Let's have a look. Brown leather, for example. And it tells you the thickness and what sort of power it should be at and what speed it should be at, how many passes. So if you look down here, some of these take 3 passes, 2 passes, depending on the material.
So these are the values we put into Lightburn before we start cutting or engraving.
But we'll come on to that more in another video. Yeah, I could go on for ages about Lightburn. There's so much to take in. I've only learnt a little bit. So as you can see, I put head to the shed. I've set the parameters already. And what you can do is colour code each line. So you've got an engraved line and you've got a cut line, as you can see on there, blue and red. And I've done it so that the engraving happens first before the cut in case it moves out of place. So here you see I've got a snapshot of the bass board through the camera, and then you can see head to the shed that's located in the top left hand corner. Now what I was doing is moving the bass board around instead of moving the actual logo around. And of course, because it's my first ever cut or engrave or what do you want to call it, or burn, I've put number 1 cut in the bottom right hand corner.
Now the moment of truth.
Duh, duh, duh. A lot of you laserers out there will be laughing now thinking, oh, what's to worry about? But you know, when you've never done it before, you're just checking everything. Everything's right. There's much anticipation before you press start. But I had nothing to worry about. It did the job perfectly. I had to double check the parameters countless times just to make sure it was right. But once you familiarise yourself with it, it becomes a little bit of second nature. I've done a few other projects since this one, but as you can see, it's engraving as it should do. It's in the perfect position, just aligning it from the camera. I've sped it up here by 2 as well, just so you can see it going through it. Head to the shed. The extraction was working well. I need to put a hole in the wall, or at least open that door and funnel it out. Some fumes can be very bad for you, some are really bad for you. But yeah, I'll do that. This is just trial runs first of all. As you can see there, it's coming out, but yeah, I need to get it through the wall. So there it is, done. And then the anticipation, I don't want to get excited until I'd actually seen if it cut all the way through. Little things and all that lot. But I must say, it performed beautifully. Really well. And here we go. As it cut through.
Ooh, look at that. Fantastic. Wow, 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 wow. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Head to the shed, #1 cut. Wow. Let's have a proper look at it. And pretty much where it said it was going to be. Look at that. Fantastic. I'm going to love this.
So then next, I thought I'd download a project. You can get them free online. And this is where I made a mistake. I scaled it down. It was meant to be like a little tool holder, but I didn't have a big enough piece of wood to put it on. So what I thought I'd do is scale it down. The problem with that, of course, is that it's meant for 3mm basswood, and I was scaling it right down. So it's never going to fit together, but it was a good trial piece to do. The problem is there was a corner of it or a section of it, which because it was so tiny, it was burning it over and over again. But you know my channel, I like to show it warts and all and show you mistakes as well, because we can all learn from it. Well, I can learn from it anyway. However, I also made another mistake. Because it was so tiny, the parts that got cut out dropped in between the aluminium struts, and because they were so wide apart, it got stuck and trapped the laser. So it moved the piece along. So it basically shows me I need to concentrate more and realise why things are a certain size and a certain shape. But we learn by these things. Well, I do anyway. And I pressed the emergency stop button and it worked. We've got to start somewhere. Completely my fault. So as you can see at this point, it's cutting okay. Then all of a sudden it jams and I pressed the stop button. And then as you can see, cuts in perfectly. Look at the fine cuts in that. But you can see the pieces there jammed, which was making the laser diode housing move the piece of basswood. So as you can see, I moved the aluminium struts closer together so I can try again. So I did my first mistake and then I carried on regardless because I didn't realise about the thickness of the wood. As you can see in there, that's the pattern. And where the grooves are, it's meant to fit together. And that little piece in there in the corner, that's the bit that started to burn too much because it was so small. So I shouldn't have scaled it down, but a lesson learned, as I said. But I thought I'd let it run anyway. I think I realised halfway through, I was going, yeah, that's going to be a problem. You can see the fan's working well. Smoke's going out of it. And look at the fine cuts in this. I mean, I'll show you this later in the video. But look how fine and how detailed it is and how fine the slots are. Now, if this was probably 1mm material, it would work. You can see there all the smoke going out the fan again. Now, this is the bit where I realised, it's making really tiny cuts in a small area. So, look, it burnt through. So I thought, I'll stop it. But you can see those little round bits, they actually cut out, okay, even scaled down. Hope that makes sense. So here it is, all cut out. And look, I say again, the perfection in those cuts is outstanding. Yeah, I was completely blown away by how good it was. See those small holes in there? That's what it should have looked like. But yeah, I probably did it a third of the size or even less actually. So next, the candlestick holder, and again, I made a mistake. This candlestick holder calls for 5mm plywood, I think it was, and I used 3mm, so hence it won't slot together. I made it work though. You may have seen I was moving it around on the screen to locate it on the wood with the camera. Much easier than trying to move the wood around.
Yes, look at that.
But again, look at the detail and the cut lines. Very accurate. I can't wait to use that 1.6 watt one as well. So there it is assembled. It's a bit loose though, because the files call for thicker wood. Found this friction gauge, well, for measuring the thickness of wood and materials. You can see it's got millimeter ratings all the way around the outside. And then it's got a piece in the middle that says speed, power and passes for your parameters when you're working something out. You jot them on a bit of pencil. So that will come in handy. And it's a good trial run on this as well. You can see it's engraving the lettering, millimeters around the outside. So it does the engraving first. You can see there as well the time left to do the piece. And then it's onto the cut. Well, it's actually cut these little boxes all the way around the outside first. Different thicknesses. Goes round a line all the way around the outside and notches off those boxes. Must be the way that the design is done. It must be a better, more accurate way of doing it, rather than going down the side and then in and then back out again. Hope that makes sense.
Nice, 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 nice. All the bits fell out though. Brilliant. For a snug fit or a friction fit, 3mm, perfect.
So next, a snowflake, well, a candlestick and snowflake, slots together. Now check this, it's the right thickness of wood. 3mm it calls for. So again, back to the laser. If you're the same as me, we go through these trial runs and look, you could have someone explain how to do this for you. But I think it's always better just to get stuck in and have a go.
Beautiful.
As long as we're safe, of course. Read the instructions. So there it is assembled, and then I glued it up and stuck a caloric candle in the top. Nice. So next on to the acrylic. So I chose red, and it comes on this paper on both sides, sticky back paper. And I thought I'd do the YouTube subscribe engraving on the front of it. Now I did the box for the cut line, and I made a mistake. It went off to the left and up too far, so it wasn't centered correctly. So you'll see in a minute. But also something I've learned as well, I was debating, shall I leave the paper on or peel it off first? So I did the settings low because I thought it's only going to get through a bit of paper. But and also it does 3 passes around this because it's so thick, and I think it wants to do it slowly.
Yep. It's through. Shame I got the size wrong, but never mind. We can I can recut that, I think. See if the label pulls off. Interesting. It's just cut through the paper. Now, can you see? Yeah, the U in YouTube is slightly burnt through because that was on a. That was darker.
Because this is classed as an image, it works out different darknesses of the image itself. And the U was a darker lettering to the rest, hence why it went deeper. We'll come on to that in another video, a bit more deeper, I think.
So I think what I might do is slow down the speed and increase the power. So what I've done is put the acrylic in again. There we go. Put it near enough in the center of that bit of acrylic, and let's adjust the power and the speed. So there we go, done it to 5030 power, 30% power.
So while the laser engraver was doing its thing, I went back to gluing up that candlestick holder.
Yeah, I didn't look, it was meant for 5mm wood, so I'll just glue this together anyway. There we go, that'll do. It's solid. Little candle holder. Now we can see, look, the U on YouTube is deeper. I don't know if that'll make a difference to the effect of it. Ooh, look at that. I almost got it in line. Waste not, want not though. Using the same bit of acrylic. Right, let's peel the back off. Look at that. The edge is cut really well. When I get used to it, I'll put rounded corners on there, but
Yeah, that's not bad, is it? Yeah, if I did that back to front, that would look cool. Maybe with a light behind it as well.
So me again in the future, or the present day, shall we say. A closer look at those pieces.
That engraved really well. To say we just used the camera to centralize it, just shows that that calibration process really did the job. As you can see, it's engraved it nicely. The U is slightly deeper. We can actually do a test plate for this laser engraver. I've not done it yet. I'll probably do it in the next video actually, and it shows different variations of grade of darkness or depth. Took 3 passes to go around, and it did it really slowly so you get a nicer cut. I think if you did it too harsh, it would burn it quite easily. I'm impressed with that. The next time I do it, I'm going to take the paper off first. Nice. Glued it together, put a bit of super glue on there. Solid. Now, when I said about this candlestick holder, I thought it was for 5mm. I don't think it was, because it almost goes together. It was just a little bit loose, but when I glued it, it held it in place. So I was probably okay. Now, these are the bits I cut out. The reason I did it smaller or scaled it down is just to do a small thing. It didn't have to be anything usable, but as you can see, they should slot together. And because this is 3mm, and because I scaled it down, if it was to the right size, they would slot together. Look how small those holes are as well. And this is with the 22 watt. I haven't even used the 1.6 watt yet. It was a trial run. It was a play around. We get better over time. Head to the shed. I just used the first font that was on there. There's loads of other fonts I could have used. But look, beautiful lines. Nice engraving. I could have gone deeper than that, or I could have gone less. Impressed with that. For my first go, I'm happy with that. I'll stick that up in the shed. Or stick it in the house to remind me. And finally, this friction fit gauge for different thicknesses of material. As you can see, I've measured it and they're all perfect. And it goes right down to hairline, look. There we go. Oh, look at that. Perfect. 3mm as well. Yeah, look, particular wood or material, I could put the speed down, the power down, and the amount of passes. Hang it on the wall. Nice. And by the way, a close-up, these are the goggles you get with it. So let's try something else. So what we'll do is we'll do a rocket. There's the file on the screen. You can see on the camera that that red perspex is positioned in there. Now, I've not took the paper off because we're just cutting it. We're not engraving it. It'll probably take a few passes. So what I can do is I can hold on the piece and move it around and position it. Right, I've had second thoughts. I'm going to use some of this basswood instead. And the reason is because it's going to take an age, unless I get these settings right. The last one took ages to cut through because it does 3 passes. So for now, I'm just going to use basswood. Click onto that camera now. We should see, the last image was the acrylic. So now we should see the basswood. There it is. Oh, I almost positioned it right, look. So if I move that to there. So we'll change it to 700 speed and then 100 power. I think that's right. As I say, I'll come on to this more detail in another video, but you can change this as well, the mode for fill or engrave, number of passes, etc. But that'll do for now. I'll do, let's home it first. There we go. Press start. 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Where it goes. Now this file, it shows a picture of a resin rocket. So I'm hoping this works. Can't see why not. Still 3mm. In further videos, I'll go into more detail on resin cutting. I've got to learn myself a lot. Now, as you see, that one piece has dropped through already. If you can see it, the slats are wider apart. That would have caught to the bottom of the laser. You can also turn these slats on the side. I think it's a completely flat top, but this will do for now. Let's have a look from the back side. Smoke is being extracted. Just need to sort the extraction system out in here. Need to put a hole in the wall. Right, I'll be back to you when it's done. Here we go, look, all done. As you can see, that one piece dropped through. If these bars were wider apart, that would have gone straight through and it might have stuck up. So I'm pleased I got it at that setting. Like I say, I might make those horizontal yet. But it looks like it's done the job. I know what I'll be doing this Christmas. Making countless things
on this. Nicely, nicely. And any bits drops through the bottom, of course, we just take the tray out. Let's get them all out. A few bits in the drawer. There they are. And that's everything. I think that's a scrap. If I press frame on here, it'll assume that we want to do that same cut again, so it will frame it first. So it gives you peace of mind. Is it home? Gives you peace of mind that you're in the right area. But with this camera, so much easier. So here we go, all the little bits. Now, how do we make it? I think there is instructions on the file, but that's a bit boring, isn't it? Oh, that goes together nicely. I think, oh yeah, different sizes. So, first is to glue it. Right, you don't want to see this. Let me come back to you when it's all done. There we go, a rocket. Endless entertainment for the grandchildren when they come round at Christmas. Or for me. And this is literally the tip of the iceberg. More to come. One more quick one. I've just downloaded these snowflakes. Well, I downloaded one. I enlarged it slightly, scaled it up, but this time it's not slotted together, so it's one piece, so it doesn't matter. I duplicated it or copied and pasted it, and I can put as many as I want on this board, but I'm just doing two that size. I've got the line sorted out, 700 speed, 100 power. Start. Now it's very detailed, so I'm hoping it's okay. I did enlarge it a bit. The other one was a lot smaller, but I thought it might be too fine a detail. It probably can cope with it, actually. It's me just overthinking it. The extraction's doing its job. Right, we'll come back to it. In fact, let's do a time lapse. The light on there makes such a difference. Oh, now it's doing like the icicles around the outside, look. Look at that. It's doing it in stages. Awesome. You're probably right in guessing this is my new favourite toy. The light on the laser's on for the lens, so I think it needs a clean. I'll do that. But look at those. Let's just take it out in one. Oh, straight out, look, straight out. That's another thing you could use them for like templates, you know, for spraying through that onto a window. Yeah, that fake snow you get. Look how delicate this is. We'll poke them out. Right, I'll pop them out and I'll be back to you. That makes more sense. You live and learn. Popping them out from the back. A lot easier. There we go. Look at how detailed they are. I think they look really effective on a tree. And here's all the bits. As you can probably guess, I'm over the moon with it. It's my new best tool, or should I say toy. Up to now, I've not really been creative with it. It's more technical. It's understanding light burns, downloading files, sending them from the laptop to the laser engraver cutter and pressing play. But I've got so many ideas what I can use this for, including my drill dust catcher that I made. I made it on the bandsaw. On this, I can design it on Lightburn, cut it out, and many more ideas I've got to make life easier around the workshop. And creative things, of course, decorative things. So I consider this my little apprentice in the shed, my little helper. So it doesn't take the elements of creativeness out of it. It's more, it helps you and speeds things up. So without a doubt, I can honestly say I would recommend it. I cannot find one fault with it. This video isn't being sponsored. Creality sent it me for free. I'll put a link below for the Creality Falcon 2pro. Also a link to their website because they've got different versions of this. For full transparency, I do get a bit of commission if you use the links below. It doesn't cost you any more. If I didn't believe in it, I certainly wouldn't be recommending it. At the time of releasing this video, there's a Black Friday offer on. Setup was easy, everything went together easy, it does what it says on the tin. What more can you ask? Might be out of some people's budget, but Creality do other models on their website. I'll also put a link below to Creality's YouTube channel, interesting to watch, and their Facebook page. You would have seen there's a few things I did wrong. I've got to learn by my mistakes.
check the thickness first before I make something that's like a model that has to be clicked together. Don't scale it down. I want to study light burn a lot more. I want to try it as well with the slats turned horizontally rather than vertically. I didn't want to reach out for help from anybody. I wanted to be completely fair, including Michael and Frank Williams. I didn't reach out because I wanted to do sort of an out-of-the-box review. As I said at the start of the video, I was always put off a little bit by how difficult it might be. Really easy to put together because it's modular. I don't get much time at the weekends, so this was perfect for me. I think from beginning to end, from unboxing to start cutting, it's probably not filming or anything else. It's probably, I don't know, 2 hours, something like that at the most. You should familiarise with light burn, etc. I use the MacBook Pro, but you can use Windows as well with Lightburn. I'm going to put a hole in the wall for extraction. It might go there. I may put it on that bench instead. I'm going to collect more materials together, including stainless steel. And then in another video as well, I'm going to try out the 1.6 watt for the fine detail stuff, and then a 40 watt for the deeper wood. Also, more capabilities on the 22 watt. So pleased I started off with this Falcon 2. If I'd have started off with a build-up model, it might have put me off. I think with this, well, I know I'm hooked. Like I said, plenty to do this Christmas. And it goes without saying, don't use this as a how-to video. Read your instructions, do your own research first, and take care. So if there's any laserers, is that the word? Comment below. Any mistakes I've made. Oh, but bearing in mind, this is my first go. It's day one. Well, it's not day one, it's over a few days, but you know what I mean. Putting your comments below really helps me and others. Let me know what you think I should make next. If you want me to answer any questions, if I can, links below. Thank you so much to Creality for sending me this, and I think there's a discount code I can put on there as well. In answer to my question at the start of the video, is it easy or difficult to buy an amateur sheddy? Me, then easy. Endless possibilities with it. If you're new here, subscribe. I've got loads more videos on my channel, loads more to come, loads more on the laser cutter. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, take care, and remember, keep calm and head to the shed. Cheers! See you next time on Weekend Shedhead.